This conference will now be recorded.
Very good afternoon to one and all present here. Today we are gathered here for the fourth session of the Ask Me Anything lecture series conducted by IP Curate Labs. Today's session will be conducted by the two executive directors from P Frepo Technologies, Mohammad Arif Ahmed sir and Himanshu Sharan sir. Both of them are here live today with us and will be conducting today's session and will be speaking on the topic how to land your CV in the hands of a recruiter to the college students and faculty present here. I'd like Mohammad Arif sir to take over from here. Arif sir.
Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to all. Myself Mohammad Arif Ahmed. I am accompanied by my fellow Executive Director Himanshu Saharan. So both of us will be presenting you today's webinar. Yeah. So should I start? Hello, Param.
Yes sir. Yes sir. You may start sir.
Okay. So starting from here, we'll be discussing about how to land your CV in the hands of the recruiter. And so every one of you must be knowing something or the other about the CV, resume. All of you have seen it, obviously, for obvious reasons. Everybody have one. So we will not go to everything in detail about what a CV is and all that, but just to keep all of us on the same page, I'm just giving you a brief introduction about the resume thing, and then we'll quickly jump into the topic. So why do employers care about your resume? Resumes are sent to employers to determine your eligibility and qualification for a job. Employers use resumes to get a deeper understanding of candidate skills, strengths, and experience. Your resume should reflect achievements, awards, education experience, and any other outstanding accomplishments that align with your career path and goals. Your resume is your first point of contact with the employer and sets the tone for subsequent steps such as pre-screening, interview, and onboarding. So in today's competitive market, so why do we actually need a resume? Is there an actual need, or what is it all about? So in today's competitive market of professional jobs, a resume is usually requirement for moving forward in the interview process. A good resume will immediately display to employers why the candidate is good for the fit. Here are some reasons why you need a resume to get your next job. A resume outlines your relevant skills and experiences, displays the benefits you offer to employers, grab the attention of employers, match you to the position, and can lead to an interview. Just a second, please. So now the thing that you must, some of you might have known about it, that is the application tracking system, but it can be a new term for most of the people here. So 70% of the job application that disqualified by application tracking system without being read by a human being. So these statistics emphasize how important it is to tailor your resume to the job you are applying for. So now we have to study what actually is an application tracking system. An application tracking system is a software employers use to manage the entire application process. This system collects, scans, and ranks all the applications. At first, ATS was created for bigger companies because they receive thousands of applications every day. But today, companies of all sizes, including 98% of Fortune companies, use ATS. So this process starts when some of you or most of the candidates apply for a job in a multinational company, like in TCS or Microsoft or Tata or whatever. So all these applications will be collected by the ATS, that is the application tracking system, and then it has been scanned and collected, and on the basis of that it will be shortlisted. So let me tell you a bit in detail about how all of the system works. So with an example, so suppose you are applying for a tax manager position, and your resume summary writes highly driven tax manager with 5+ years of financial experience in managing tax returns and affairs, proven experience of success, employer satisfaction, and strong communication skills. Now this resume summary of yours will be read by ATS in the manner like tax manager, 5+ years of experiences, tax returns and affairs, employer satisfaction, strong communication skills. These terms, these key terms are being extracted by the ATS, and then it will match it with its requirements. Like we have mentioned here in the slide itself, like it will go for tax manager check, 5+ year of experiences check, employer satisfaction check, communication skills check, but analytical skills and Microsoft Office, which is the basic requirement for that particular job, it is not being mentioned here. So if your resume doesn't match the basic list of requirements, then it's automatically discarded without even being seen by an actual human being. So whether you are qualified for the job, you are the best fit for the job, it doesn't matter because it actually didn't reach a human being. But if it does pass this test, then it's ranked by relevance. That is, the best resume goes on the top of the recruiter's pipeline. So this is a basic small example about how the system assess a particular CV or an application. Now, what is the solution? So in order to pass this first hurdle of a recruitment process or job onboarding process, the first step is to pick the right resume format. The easiest format for an ATS to read is the format that emphasizes your work experience by putting it on top of the page. Generally, the present industry scenario is that the CVs will have the work experience at the top, followed by educational, and then to the skills and all. Personal information will either be skipped or being put at the bottom. So then it sorts your experience with most relevant and follow. Next step will be to choose the appropriate file format. At current industry standards, a PDF file is the universal and can be read by most of the ATSs. So that should be your go-to. PDF files are also great for maintaining the design and format of your resume. Coming to the third step, the most crucial one, you can say, use an ATS resume template. Many applicants get rejected for using resume template that ATS usually get scrambled in the system. For example, let me tell you a few demo CVs that get rejected. Wait a second, please. Like these. This CV is very much graphical, and people used to like, especially the youngsters, they like these type of formats nowadays, showcasing their talents in the form of design, graphs. This looks very attractive and all that. There are various websites and portals, those who are selling these designs by saying the premium content and all. The the famously known as one-pager CVs, graphical CVs, they have some animations onto it as well. And we have just shortlisted few of them just to show you. And especially this one, it can be an eye candy, but when it comes to the actual work done or the getting the actual job, this is not going to work, because here the ATS will be very much confused what to extract and from where to extract and how to present it and how to shortlist it. Especially this is the timeline design that is very much been into the sector nowadays, but it has been highly rejected. The most creative one, this one, where the graphs and images and graphics are being used, this one. And so by these designs, I'm trying to tell you what you should not do, how you should not present your CV, because there can be many ways which I can tell you this can be done, but the thing what should not be done, what can be, I can say that might not be a good word, but I am compelled to use it. What can be a criminal thing to do when it comes to writing a resume? Don't do these, don't follow these 17 designs that I'm showing you right now. Any one of them, that will be a criminal offense, obviously, just to select these designs to get rejected by the ITS. So now the last one, I must say, this is quite decent, I can say, even though it's very a bit unformatted. Work experience is at the center or down part, and most of the graphics are being used, and you cannot try to be so much frank that thank you, I'm hired, or hello. So you cannot be that much informal in your CV presentation. You have to be very much professional, you have to be very much to the point, and you cannot casual out your CV. So coming to the next, now coming to our product or our company or our website, that is PF Repo. So we have a set of resume templates and are perfect for writing an ATS friendly resume, and employers to help you create an amazing resume. Using any complicated character might be incompatible with the ATS. So if you are using any of the designer or creative character on your CV, then ATS might get confused. So you should avoid that. Now the last step, but not the least, obviously, label your sections right. You should label your sections in the most generic term possible. You should not use fancy words, like make sure to list your work experience under work experience, skills under skills. That's the only way for the ATS to recognize what it is reading. To create an ATS friendly resume, keep everything simple. Keep the simple fonts, the standard fonts, designs, layouts, and use the bulleted list. Keywords are the key. ATS scan the documents for keywords, like I have shown you in the previous example as well. So you should tailor your resume with resume keywords. Do that by finding relevant keywords on the job posting, what job you are applying for, what is the job role, what is the roles and responsibilities that you're supposed to be fulfilling and following, and group these words into sections. Now this is all about the CV. Now the one more integral part of your job hunting process or applying for a job is the cover letter. So why do employers care about your cover letter? Resumes usually accompanied by a customized cover letters sent to the employers to determine your eligibility and qualification for the job. It's an opportunity to impress. Research suggests that employers favors resumes that are accompanied by a cover letter. So why do we need a cover letter? Cover letters helps you showcase your following qualities, like immediate value, help you stand out and be considered as a strong candidate with respect to the others. Unique fit, showcase your unique selling point, that is unique combination of skills and experience that meets the job description. Personality, tone of your cover letter gives an insight into your personality. Cover letters can express your personality that your resume cannot. Allow you to explain why you are best person for the job. And now the most important part, I can say, I personally feel that, and I personally do that in my job applying days as well, that enthusiasm part about the job and the company. A tailored and crafted cover letter shows you have taken time to research about the company and also understand their needs and job requirements for the job you are applying for. So these are the things so far we have discussed about the resume, the cover letter, the document that goes to the recruitment process when you first apply for. So later on, if ATS makes you through the process and you have successfully dodged, or you can say passed through ATS system, and your profile has been seen by a recruitment manager, then the next thing is that is being very much done nowadays is the online presence. Personal website is a new trend that emerged in the recruitment industry nowadays. It gives you a slight edge over the other candidates. Online presence comprises of two things, basically: personal website and social media presence. Now, why do you need an online presence? 56% of the hiring managers look for it, but only 7% of the job seekers actually have a personal web page. So most of the people don't even know what to put on their web page. It gives you a creative freedom to express yourself, which you cannot do via a resume, like showcasing your projects, your portfolio, especially in case of architects and all the creative field people, those who have done various projects, some IT and CS people as well, they have worked on various projects, websites, so they can showcase their products there as well. Now, having your own web page allows you to control what people will find when they search for you on the internet. Generally, recruitment managers also search for a candidate's name on general Google search in order to find what they actually see. Like they have commented some, they have created some viral content or some viral comment which you specifically doesn't want to see, so that can pop up in your search. So if you have a web page, then automatically it will be shown at the top results, so it will be an advantage for you. It acts as a positive sales pitch for you. So it is great to create an online presence now that you own and maintain yourself, so you will be ahead of the curve when everyone else is rushing to catch up with this trend later, when it becomes everyone's go-to thing. Now, what to do if you are a rookie in coding? Suppose you say, okay, sir, I understand whatever you are saying, but I don't know anything about coding and I haven't done that before. So how can I make my own web page? So there are tools out there to help. There is Wix, there is WordPress, there is Squarespace, etc., where you can find templates and create your own website or web page with comparatively less efforts as compared to being an actual computer science or IT guy. Finding a good domain name can be an issue nowadays, and the cost associated with domain name and hosting can be an issue for many. But don't worry, there is a solution here with PFRepo. By click of a button, you can create a free web page, personalized domain name, can customize what you want to show and what not with no coding knowledge at all. So this is what we are offering at pfrepo.me. It is a free web page service we are being providing as well. So now coming to the social media part, well-crafted social media profile is a must. Interact and follow different professionals, peoples, and groups that are in the field of your interest. Like their pages on Facebook and LinkedIn, follow their accounts on Twitter and LinkedIn. This way, you will also stay updated about the industry and the company. Employers judge the character and traits of their prospective employees by scrolling down their social media profiles. So share cautiously and avoid inappropriate content. Keep a positive reputation on your profile and avoid rebellious stuff. So these are the things that I'm telling you in the presentation. Our aim is not to tell you each and everything what you should do and all that. Irrespective of that, our aim is to tell you what you should not do in order to avoid being rejected at of a silly mistake, you can say, or anything like that. Our main aim is to tell you what you should not do and what you should take care of. So here we have discussed you about the CV stuff, the cover letter, the online presence thing. So let me tell you at the end a brief about what PFRepo is all about. PFRepo means it's an abbreviation for portfolio repository, and we are into digital career portfolio management system. We create services around an individual. So suppose you are a graduate or just looking for your first job, so you can create your CV, your cover letter by click of a button. It's as similar to as creating your social media profile on Facebook and any other platform. Just follow the step-by-step process. You will be having a dashboard like, and it is in the center, that is a profile manager. Everything will be here. If you want to create a CV, you can create a CV real time by click of a button. At the top you will see a CV icon. From there you can click and create your CV. You can create a cover letter for your first job, for your first internship, for your first promotion, for your relieving. All the options and all the templates are available there. You can get your personal website, and everything is customizable 100%. If you are applying for a job where you don't want to showcase few things or few certificates you are doing, so you can obviously unselect it, and that will be customized as per real time. So you don't have to edit your CV every time. Just go to your profile, select what you want to show, and by click of a button your CV is ready. Everything is personalized, everything is downloaded in your system. It is GDPR compliant. Your data is 100% safe and secure, and that's all it is. So I welcome questions if any one of you have. Feel free to ask anything.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
So can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Sir, being into the field of teaching nowadays, just having the experience and having the PhD degree is not sufficient. We have to actually have, DST projects, as well as we have to have patents and other things. So for that,
Okay.
can you suggest?
Sorry, I lost you.
Apart from teaching, there is a lot of pressure on the faculties, because along with the research papers and PhD, now the requirement is to have more and more of DST funded projects, as well as patents, as well as research papers in high quality journals, right? So it sets a lot of pressure on the faculty. So can you suggest some ways to get into these things?
So coming to your issue and connecting it with PFRepo, I can say we have also having a recommendation portal here. where we recommend all the people the famous conferences or whatever is suits your profile comes into place. Like for if you are an educational industry teacher, you are into teaching field, so we have also have a product. It is in the final stage of developments, where if you are looking for any promotion or anything, so as per the UGC rules or AICTE rules, we'll study your profile on the basis of your so far done conferences, your publications and all, and on the basis of that we'll tell you how much more publications and conferences you have to attend in order to get the promotion. So there is also a product specific to the academicians which we are working on, so you can try that, and by that you can see what the other things you need in order to excel in your sector or in life or career.
Okay, thank you, sir.
This is an interactive session, so students can also ask no issues, no worries. Students, if you have any doubts, you might be having definitely, but you are not taking the initiative. Please go ahead, ask something.
हेलो गुड मॉर्निंग सर गुड इवनिंग सर सर मेरे को एक क्वेश्चन था कि मेरी फैकल्टीज में बताते कि आजकल ये ऑब्जेक्टिव या एम है ये नहीं लिखा जाता है रिज्यूम में, क्या ये लिखना होगा या नहीं लिखना होता?
Listen, basically objective previously back in I can say in 2010 or 11 काफी ज्यादा practice में था objective, aim, what you are looking to, but generally क्या होता है, अब आप हर एक प्रोफाइल के लिए अलग से ऑब्जेक्टिव नहीं बना सकते हो, right? So it can be more of an about me thing rather than being an objective. So you should frame it as per an about me stuff. Tell what your previous projects are. Like suppose if you are in a final year, or if you have just 1 or 2 years of experience in the industry, so you can say that you have worked on these following projects and you have particular experience in that. So like in the example I must tell you, so in this slide here it is written 5+ years of financial experience in managing tax returns and affairs, proven experience of success, employer satisfaction. So keywords will obviously play a good role. So whenever you search जब भी आप किसी job profile के लिए search करेंगे, so look for the terms that are being used there. So try to include that term in your CV, so in order to make it more keyword friendly and make it more about me rather than being an objective. So आपकी faculties ने सही कहा है, because about the objective is not much in trend nowadays. It's more of an about me rather than an objective thing.
Yes,
I hope this answers your question.
और सर कोई पर्सनल इंफॉर्मेशन जैसे माय फादर्स है, माय एड्रेस, ये सब चीजें देनी पड़ती है या नहीं? ये भी स्कीम मना करा हुआ है फैकल्टीज में, पहले डालते थे।
पहले पहले ये रीजन हुआ करता था, जनरली पहले लोग प्रोजेक्ट्स नहीं करते थे, इंटर्नशिप्स नहीं करते थे, पहले फाइनल ईयर में भी गिने चुने लोग ही इंटर्नशिप्स करते थे. एंड राइट नाउ द ट्रेंड इज, आई हैव सीन माई सेल्फ एज वेल, देयर आर स्टूडेंट्स हु आर स्टार्टिंग डूइंग जॉब्स, वी हैव इंटर्न्स फ्रॉम सेकंड ईयर इटसेल्फ. सो अभी स्टूडेंट्स काफी इंटर्नशिप्स की तरफ, स्किल डेवलपमेंट की तरफ बहुत काफी फोकस कर रहे हैं. इंडस्ट्री में क्या चल रहा है उन्हें हमसे ज्यादा पता है, एंड दे आर एक्टिवली डूइंग कोर्सेस एंड ऑल. सो अभी ये काफी हो गया, तो यू हैव सो मच थिंग्स टू राइट इन योर सीवी. सो पहले जनरली कुछ हुआ नहीं करता था, तो जनरली लोग अपनी पर्सनल इन्फॉर्मेशन लिख दिया करते थे, बट अभी हाईली रिकमेंडेड है कि आप पर्सनल इन्फॉर्मेशन इंक्लूड ना करें अनलेस एंड अनटिल इट हैज बीन आस्क्ड, राइट? सो इफ यू गो थ्रू द प्रोफाइल, अगर आप पीएफ पे प्रोफाइल बनाते हैं, आप सीवी डिजाइंस के थ्रू जाएंगे, तो वी शेयर वेरी लेस अमाउंट ऑफ पर्सनल इन्फॉर्मेशन, एंड स्पेशली फादर्स नेम, एड्रेस एंड ऑल, तो वो तो कभी भी शेयर नहीं किया जाता, ठीक है? सो दैट्स वेरी अननेसेसरी टू बी फ्रैंक.
सो बेस्ट रेज्यूमे के लिए क्या कौन सा बेस्ट टेम्पलेट रहता है?
There is not a yes or no or a black and white answer for that. Actually the thing is, जो भी CV आप skills, because ultimately what lands you a good job is your skills and your experience, right? So suppose जो basically हमारे 90% fresher students या final year students का problem रहता है, sir we don't have experience, so what should we do? So start gaining more and more skills. So आप generally skills जहाँ अपनी focus कीजिए, skills पे अपना focus करके उनको include कीजिए, और try to make your CV as much heavy as possible with respect to your courses you have done, with respect to internships you have done. ठीक है, so focus on that part. And basically जो PF report के designs हैं generally अगर आप उनमें भी देखेंगे, most of them we are it has been arranged in such a manner that they will automatically pass through ATS, so that will not be an issue for you guys. So जितना आपका attractiveness होगा CV का, वो आपके skills और आपके internships और आपके projects के ऊपर base करेगा. So the more heavy the CV is, the more likely are your chances to get selected. That's what I can say.
So one more question, that it is necessary to put a photograph on CV, or it is compulsory or not?
Generally, a few of the companies nowadays are asking for it, and most like we have also worked with few industries, like we are providing them the placement portals and all. So we have designed a portal in which a university can directly, generally companies जो हैं वो colleges में आती हैं, काफी इसमें expense भी लगता है, students को gather करना होता है and all that. So उसके लिए हमने एक solution prepare किया है. So on the basis of that, when we do meeting with the companies, they say कि उनकी भी requirement होती है कि they want to have a image of the candidate. So photos are in trend from past 2 years, definitely. So you can have a passport size well suited photo of yours and you can attach that. We have some photo CV options as well, and some of them and few without photos as well. So it depends, but if you put a photo that can be good, it is in trend, so there's no harm in that. So there's a question in the comment section as well. Is it good to mention that we had worked on a startup? If yes, then the question which troubles me is, will you leave this job if you get interest back again on your startup? How to deal with it? Okay, that's very interesting question. And being an entrepreneur, I have also faced that some kind of that problem in my life as well. So it is really good to say that you have worked on a startup, just because in a startup you feel the time, the amount of pressure and the work responsibility that you won't get in a typical industry job or a 9 to 5 kind of job where you have a specific responsibility. Here multiple roles are being given to you, like we have done almost work in every role in our time and right now as well. So एक startup में जो भी individual होता है, entrepreneur जो होता है, अगर आप suppose CTO ही हैं, आप tech का part देखते हैं, but still आपकी जो मैनेजमेंट है या जो आपके कोर पार्टनर्स हैं, आपको पता होता है वो कैसे काम कर रहे हैं. अगर एक दिन ऐसा आए, फॉर एग्जांपल लाइक मैं और हिमांशु भी यहाँ पर हैं, तो हिमांशु कैन टेल यू दैट एज वेल. अगर कल मैं ना कहूँ कि मैं 1 हफ्ते के लिए नहीं आ रहा हूँ, तो कंपनी ऐसा नहीं होगा कि हिमांशु नहीं देख सकता. ही कैन हैंडल एवरी पार्ट ऑफ इट, ही नो एवरीथिंग इन एंड आउट. सो ये एक स्टार्टअप की एडवांटेज है. और अगर मैं कहीं हायर करने जा रहा हूँ, तो मैं देखूंगा कि ठीक है, इस बंदे ने स्टार्टअप में काम किया, तो ऑब्वियसली ही हैज हैंडल्ड एंड फील more pressure than a normal individual that is not worked in a startup. So it's obviously a plus point from my knowledge and experience so far. Or the next question, the next part of that same question is, will you leave this job if you get interest back on your startup again? So listen, the thing is, it is very hard for an entrepreneur to leave a startup. So you can say that I'll try. Suppose if this question has been asked to me, I must have said कि अगर मुझे ये startup छोड़ के job करनी पड़े, so दैट मीन्स कि मैं हर एक वो चीज ट्राई कर चुका हूँ कि मैं स्टार्टअप को वापस लाइव कर सकूँ, वापस जिंदा कर सकूँ. नहीं हो पा रहा है, दैट्स व्हाई आई एम लीविंग इट. एंड it doesn't make that much of a difference, because my loyalty towards the job is more important than leaving and all. And you should show that you are loyal towards that particular job or thing. And अगर कोई ऐसा स्टार्टअप की अपॉर्चुनिटी भी आती है, फॉर एग्जांपल कंपनीज nowadays want their candidates to work hard on their product and they also sponsor them. Suppose आप किसी, for example मान लीजिए किसी इंश्योरेंस कंपनी में आप हैं और आप वहाँ पे काम कर रहे हैं और आपको कोई इंश्योरेंस का प्रोडक्ट अच्छा लगा है, आपको लगा है कि इसके ऊपर बिजनेस किया जा सकता है. सो यू कैन क्रिएट अ बिजनेस प्लान, यू कैन प्रेजेंट इट टू योर मैनेजमेंट, दे विल डेफिनेटली लुक इनटू इट विद पॉजिटिव इंटेंट and they can obviously make you the department head or anything like that. So it will obviously a plus point. As per my knowledge, my experience, I have seen my friends doing this. They've been made department heads in very less time, just because they are from an entrepreneurial background or they have that entrepreneurial zeal. सो मेरे हिसाब से ये बहुत ही अच्छी एडवांटेज होगी आपके लिए अगर आप किसी स्टार्टअप में काम करते हैं या बताते हैं कि आप एक एंटरप्रेन्योरियल माइंडसेट से हैं, because these people work far more hard and far more better than the normal candidate which is doesn't have that entrepreneurship. Okay, next questions are welcome. Anyone from the students, please ask anything you're having in mind.
Sir, as an employer, how do you feel we should pick
Yeah.
the right CV? What should we look for in the right CV? If
Okay,
we have
very
a
interesting question.
prospective list, if we have a prospective मतलब collection of resumes, how would you feel? मतलब how do we pick the right CV to interview?
Okay, as a employer you're asking me, right?
Yeah.
Suppose I received 10 CVs. I'll take this hypothetical case, which generally happens every time we go for an internship drive or anything like that. So
Yeah.
we receive multiple CVs. So what we actually see is, firstly, the design template, obviously it should be neat, clean and defined, which shows a person's actual intent, how he's, like I told you that there are few things that, you know, tell about yourself that your CV can't, your cover letter and all, your tone, your language, everything. Fine. So that matters, that have an inbuilt effect on you, that the person is talking to you. Like in CV mein aap generally kuch personalized nahi likh sakte, there are tabs and you can mention it. Cover letter give you that freedom, so you can include some keywords and some personalized touches that can, you know, affect the employer. And the most important thing that makes a yes or no decision between a candidate is its skill set. So that, let's eliminate that part as well. There are two candidates having the same skill set and I'm having only one opening. I can only hire one person. So then I'll see that, you know, if it is a photo image type of CV, like the person is having a photo, that like the previous student asked the same question, that photo CV mein include karna chahiye nahi karna chahiye. Mere hisab se, as being an employer, it's a plus point for me. I like a photo CV rather than a non-photo CV, because in spite of troubling him to come to me, I have already seen how he looks like and all that thing. So actually it doesn't make that much of a difference, but it adds on, you know, adds on a bit to it. So then the complete things that I have mentioned so far in the presentation, that every small things makes a beautiful presentation of yours. You have to present yourself. Don't be so fancy. Look, like I have shown you some sample CVs. Don't be that creative thing and all. Go for the basic, go for the straightforward thing, because we don't have that much of time to spend on your CV to, you know, if I have to pay any special attention or stress to read something or to understand something, there are too much technical or critical words you are using. So that's a pretty much an off thing for me. Make it simple, straightforward, easy to read, easy to process, right? So that will be a handy thing.
Thank you, sir.
I'm taking, okay.
There are a few more
Taking
questions in
from
the
the comment.
chat.
Yeah. How many hobbies should be included in the CV? Okay. We are into this specifically in PF Repo and the recruitment industry actively from past 2 years, and we have not appreciated the hobby part in the CV section. So unless and until it is related to your stuff or shows some kind of character that is required in the job posting, suppose you are into business development manager की profile के लिए आप apply कर रहे हैं, या फिर कोई travel blogger की profile, because there are creative profiles as well in which people apply for and get a job. So, and you are a traveler, or you have a YouTube channel, or you have a hobby of traveling. So if these things happen, so then you can include your hobbies. Suppose you are applying for a you know, software engineer or anything like that, and you say I like traveling, I like photography and all that. So that doesn't make any sense, you know. I'm not interested in that, because I'm much more into what you can do for me, because actually what a CV is, it's actually a product description manual of yours, right? An employer is being your buying your time and services, so your CV will show your worth in it. So it should be concerned with that thing, like for what I'm paying you for, actually what you will do with that. So I don't appreciate hobbies being mentioned unless and until they add any value to the things. And if you put a bit of emphasis on that, you will get to know that there's nobody, no one can come and tell you that this should be done or should not be. You should not ask anybody else. You should ask yourself, and you will get a honest answer of that, whether that adding that hobby will pay any advantage to you or not. Another question I'm taking from the comment section: up to how many papers of CV should we get, or is that necessary for us to submit one paper or more than one or two? There is no hard and fast rule for that, because companies also doesn't ask for that, because if there is a hard and fast rule, then company will mention that, and I haven't seen a single company in the past few times which has given any particular condition that only one page of CVs are allowed, only 2 page of CVs are allowed, right? And if you are from an academic background or you are from a research background, then there can be 10 to 20 pages. I have seen CVs of 10 to 15 to 20 pages, because they have to mention their research papers, their conferences they have attended, and everything in that. So that makes the CV lengthy one. So that's irrespective of that. But generally, in present scenario, being a fresher, being a final year student, one pager CVs are much enough a trend, because it shows how you can put everything at one page. I think that's the thing. And I must actually, I didn't want to mention it, but now the question is there, so I can say that it is basically a marketing gimmick done by the those companies like Canva and all those who wants to sell these designer CVs of theirs for some healthy amount of money they are charging the candidates nowadays for, so that they can create a buzz of it, like one pager CVs are cool, it's in the trend in the industry and all that. So they are using it just to as a marketing tool. So I don't think it makes any much of a difference. Obviously, like I have shown you a few designs, they are creating a trouble for the ATS only, nothing else. So if your designer CV caught with an ATS, then I'm pretty much sure that ATS is not going to let it through. So I think a basic normal template or a basic design, try to include as much relevant things you can, and that will be beneficial for it. Now, another question I'm taking from the comment section. Sir, you just explain about the importance of mentioning internships, projects, and trainings. However, heavier the CV, more are the chances of leaving small details like MS Office, etc. Assuming that everyone nowadays know how to work on MS. So how can one accommodate that small details within? Okay, that's very interesting question, and I want to really appreciate that from Bhavna Singh. It's a very thought about question, and answer of that is include these as the keywords in your about me section, right? Like we have seen in the example that we have discussed, it has mentioned everything. So you should insert a keyword that fluent in Microsoft Office or Microsoft Suite. Use a keyword, you can search it on Google and in various designs and on various platforms. There are various blogs been written by various portals about these, how to write include keywords in your about me section. So you can give it a thought. You can visit Quora as well, there are some quite good answers there as well. So you can include these things, like just the generic things which most of the people know, but they are important to be mentioned in the CV, right? For small jobs like business development, I cannot say it's a small job, but for jobs which are office technical things are being important, like we are hiring for a content researcher or a content marketer or a content creator. So he must be fluent in Office, Microsoft presentation, publication, HTML and all that thing. He must know that, and the basic codings and all. So he must have that basic hand around all these things. So you must include that. That will be an added advantage. And so a data entry operator knowing all the things, XML, all that will be an added advantage. He can do some other helpful stuff and help others in the office as well. So you can include that in the about me section rather than putting it specifically in the skill set, because it doesn't, nowadays it doesn't count to be a skill to be true. It is more of a generic thing that you must know. Is objective at the top of CV. Just like I have said, objective is not the right word we use nowadays. It's about more of an about me thing rather than an objective, and it can be at the top or at the bottom depending on the design you choose. And it doesn't really make any much of a difference, because when we see a CV, we see it from top to bottom. It's not like we see the particular section and we don't see that. And if you have mentioned the sections properly, like, you know, experience, skills about me, so ATS won't mess with that. He is straight away going to skip it and move ahead. So there's not much of a disadvantage whether you put it at the top or at the bottom. Sorry. Next is, so is that necessary for us to submit long CV? Is that good? Yeah, like I have said before, it's irrespective. If you have so much things to mention in your CV, that's obviously a good thing as per my personal opinion and my experience so far is concerned. If you have so much to mention in your CV, obviously you have so much to show. If you don't have much of skills, projects, things you have done so far, so you can't show anything, right? So if you have something to show, then you can. If you don't have, then how you can manage? You know, you cannot fake in your CV, obviously. Now, next question: can you make a Word file? What you said? I didn't get that, Nisar. So sorry, I didn't get what you want to say. So if you can mention it again, post it regarding important information. I have seen many students with bad CV but still got selected in good MNCs. So Shiv, I cannot comment on that. I have seen many students with bad CVs because there might be some good luck with them. They got through with their technical rounds or anything like that. They must be having knowledge. That's why they select, because when it comes to, you know, hiring people, some people are very, you know, the hiring managers are very ruthless. They don't allow, you know, subnormal or non-compatible people in their organization. The company doesn't want to spend even a single rupee in a liability, so they're always looking for assets. So if they seems to be an asset for the company, they definitely got selected and got good jobs in good MNCs. So I can comment, I cannot seriously comment on that, whether that bad CV can get through, how when it's done. So it's a case-to-case basis. So which format should be given for qualification? Is it start from higher education? Yeah, you should start from the most recent. You should note that Jyoti's question is, it is. So suppose in the works experience as well, if you having the most recent experience should be put at the top, and then you should follow till the last one. Suppose for example, like educational qualification, you have said the 10th education will be at the bottom, then followed by 12th, then graduation, then post graduation. So you should start from post graduation, then graduation, then likewise. Similarly, you have done some work in 2005 in some company, that should become at the bottom, and the most recent work experience should come at the top. So it should be from most recent to the last one. So I hope I covered every one of the questions that are in the comment section. So to say that I have joined late and I don't know what you said, so please can you please say in short how to place good in job? Nisar, you can simply turn your mic on and explain it to me, because you are saying, can you say in short how to place good in job? I'm unable to figure your query. So you can just simply turn your mic on and just simply say it in whatever language you are comfortable with. No issues.
Assalamu alaikum.
वालेकुम अस्सलाम. जी निसार
ये
बताइए.
फाइनल ईयर हो गए बाद जॉब कैसा प्लेस करना क्या आप बता सकते हैं?
सो आपका फाइनल ईयर कंप्लीट हो चुका है?
नहीं मैं थर्ड ईयर में हूँ अभी फिलहाल.
अभी थर्ड ईयर में. ओके, सो यू हैव डन इंटर्नशिप्स एंड ऑल, आपने किया है?
नहीं इंटर्नशिप नहीं किया है. लॉकडाउन से पहले प्लान किया था मैंने इंटर्नशिप के लिए, बट सडन लॉकडाउन आया था ना, इसलिए नहीं किया कुछ.
Okay. So lockdown was obviously a very different scenario. You cannot counter that, obviously. So coming to getting a what should be the go ahead if you want to get a job in the recent time, in the recent coming 6 months or a year. The thing is ki if I am a recruiter, like I have said before, I'll select a candidate whose CV suit the best to my job profile. First, you have to understand what you can do best when you go to the industry. Suppose you are a software engineer or you are a IT guy and you have a very good knowledge of software. So if you are good in Java or you are good in React or in Flutter or in any of the programming languages, so you should see that relevant jobs in the industry as well. Suppose we are hiring for an app developer, so we are looking for Flutter. the person who knows Flutter. So if you are good in Flutter, you should search for that. So go for the keyword and go for the terms that your industry associated with and that you have worked upon. So you have interest in a particular domain, search for the terms that are being used in that domain, search for the courses that are being done in that domain, and search for the programming languages or the industry trends that are being doing in that. And on the basis of that, apply for the jobs. If you apply for a right job, that's the first and the good step, I can say. That is the best thing you can do is apply for the most relevant job, right? If you doesn't have any knowledge of Flutter or even React and you are applying for a web developer or app developer which has the basic requirement mentioned in its job skills required, and you are applying for it, then there are very rare chances you get selected. So then you can say that, okay, my CV is not that much good enough or something like that. So the basic and the foremost thing is be relevant to the job position. You should be relevant. You should hit at the right place at the right time. You should know where to apply, where not to apply, what are the minimum qualifications you need. And that can be better done if you create a profile at PF Repo. We provide skill courses recommendations, we provide job recommendations, we provide where you should apply for. And if you are aspiring for a particular profile, then we can provide recommendations for that as well. So these are the things that can be worked out here also. So I think that's the answer of the question. Jyoti is saying something. If I have experience of industry and I am applying for teaching, then is it good to mention industry experience in my CV? Also, industry experience not related to any subject of teaching. Okay. So, Jyoti, your question is quite relevant and good, but I must say, if you are applying for a teaching job, then you are changing career, right? You have an industry experience and now you are shifting from industry to teaching industry. So that's a change from one industry to another. And if you do that, then you are considered to be a fresher in that industry, in that particular industry. And even though you know how people work, because somewhere it has been understood that you should know how industry and the people work and how the work culture is there. So you know the work culture, and that you can definitely say that I'm shifting industry from my previous industry to the present one, that is teaching, and it's my passion and all. You can mention all these things, and you can also definitely give a reason, because you must have a valid reason in order to switch industries, because that's why you are doing it. So you must be able to convey that reason why you are doing it, and any specific thing you have taught on any of the online platforms, or you have done any of the YouTube coaching and all, because there are a lot of platforms available right now in the market. So you can, if you have any experience on that, you can share it with them. If you have any YouTube channel and also specific something like that, you can mention that as well. So an industry relevant experience only works there, because you cannot mention your industry experience in your teaching profile. That's not going to work. That will not be considered. So my recommendation will be, you should go for the relevant experience, but you can definitely say why you are switching, and that can be a plus point. That can be a basic major reason why a person can hire you. Anybody else?
Thank you, Mohammad Arif sir, for the wonderful session conducted today.
Okay.
I would like to ask if you have a few words for the participants here as your closing remark.
Yeah, closing remark, I can only say that you guys should focus on getting more and more exposure in your college or university you are in, because when you leave that gate for the last time, then you'll surely going to regret that the time you have at that time available with you, you have just can't utilize it properly. Do as much internships, experiences, skill courses as you can, because when you come to the industry, you won't get that time. You'll be having that family pressure and all that things, and that can put a burden on you, and that can create a bit of a negative attitude and something like that. So you should focus more on your developing your skills and getting your CV resume a bit more heavier with respect to skills and all. And obviously you can use the platform pfrepo.me, and by sooner or later will be coming to your educational institution as well. because we have multiple products available for the institution, college, university students, and everybody. So just go through it. It's free of cost right now. We'll be charging down the line sometime soon, but not for now. You can have it access free of cost. Just go give your feedback at contact@pfrepo.me. You can contact on me on WhatsApp at the number mentioned at the bottom of the screen. So you can ask me anytime, so that if you have any queries or something like that. That's all I can say. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your encouraging words to the students. And thank you, Himanshu sir and Mohammad Arif sir, for helping us conduct the Ask Me Anything lecture today.
Yep.
Also,
Pleasure.
thanking all the participants to for attending today's lecture. And with this, sir, I will close the session, if that is all right.
Yeah, if everybody is fine and there's no more queries,
Yeah.
then we can definitely.
All right. I don't think
Yeah,
there are any
all
queries,
being
sir.
a great audience. All being a great audience. It's a pleasure. Thank you very much, everybody.
Yes, sir. It was a pleasure having you come here to speak also, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
I'm now closing the session. Yeah.